Oos, Face Sensei here, back again. So, Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. It was just like a hoax at first. They were just talking smack, but I guess it's official according to Logan Paul's Instagram and Floyd's Instagram. I think it was first. Everyone posting it. It is confirmed. They are going to be having a special exhibition. So we don't know the rule set yet, unless it's out there already. The rounds, the gloves, right, the headgear, all that stuff. That's going to be very important determining how bad it's going to be or how much challenge it's going to be for Logan, right? If it's heavier gloves and headgear, then it's not too rough of a night for Logan. But if, you know, you're having pro gloves and stuff like that, it's weird because I want to get into a little bit more detail because I wanted to talk about, does Logan have a chance, right? I think everyone just thinks immediately Logan's going to get destroyed, and then people might think, yeah, the height and weight, yes, but there's such a big skill gap. This is ridiculous. First, let me say this. I'm not like upset about it because Floyd is a retired boxer. He has put on an exhibition match against a kickboxer, against Conor McGregor. It's not like Logan is getting a chance to fight for a title or fight other professional boxers. He's not really robbing other boxers of an opportunity to fight for a belt or something like that. This is purely Floyd Mayweather and Logan getting together with this company, the service that they're using. Clearly, they offered a bunch of money, and it's easy money for the both of them. Obviously, it's easier money for Floyd. That's what Floyd did when he went to Japan and fought the kickboxer. You know, he's like, why wouldn't I take 10 million bucks, whatever it was, for the 3 minutes that he was in there for, or however long. He's a retired boxer. He's a retired champion. You know, more power to him if he gets to make money doing something he's really good at, and it doesn't have to be as challenging for him. Right? Why would he say no to that? Now, obviously, Logan, why would Logan say no to that too, right? He gets to fight Floyd. It's a crazy opportunity. It's something, if they really are going to be fighting, like an exhibition like Roy Jones and Mike Tyson in terms of like adjusted rules, why wouldn't he do that? JJ put out a thing that said, fair play Logan Paul, because it's just crazy that a YouTuber is able to make that happen, right? Now let's talk about the matchup. In a couple of videos ago, I talked about it playfully because I was reacting to what Logan said, I think on the Hollywood Fix, talking about he would beat him up in a real fight. Obviously MMA, anything like that. If it was a boxing match, he's got a bunch of power, he's taller, he's bigger. But let's unpack that, because it's not, I don't think it's as simple as Floyd just knocking him out. Here's the thing. If you look it up, it does say that Logan is 6'2". I don't know how much he weighs, but with a 76-inch reach. He doesn't look 6'2". When I saw him, I was up next to him, he does not look 6'2". He looks like closer to 6'4". Jake is listed as 6'1", so is Jake much smaller, but any picture that you have next to each other, Logan just looks bigger. He just does not look 6'2" to me. Now, he fought at like 190, but that, you know, when he was like 190 when he fought JJ, the first time, he looked really slimmed down. But when he fought JJ the second time, he was a monster, right? We're talking 200 pounds, 205. He could be 205, 210. He's not like a big and slow guy. He's not like sluggish. He's fast, he's quick. Right, he has all those attributes of being a really good athlete. But it's like JJ beat him. JJ was able to land punches on him, body jabs, big overhand hooks. Right, JJ's also not a short guy though. He's not 5'8" like Floyd is listed at, and Floyd might even be 5'7", right? I think they might push him up a little bit. And it says he has a 72-inch reach, which is only a 4-inch reach difference, which is not, you know, not huge. You might see that in boxing matches, but there's a reason there's a weight class, right? There's a reason there's a weight class. JJ was all the same weight as Logan, right? They were right around the same weight. So to go in there and box each other, they're landing punches on each other, they're still the same weight. Now, obviously, they don't have all the skill and the technique to put power, and it's not like Floyd is like a soft puncher. He's only considered that way because of his style in terms of, you know, the world-class fighters he fights in terms of those power punches. But it's not like Floyd doesn't hit hard in terms of just in general hitting hard. Floyd can knock people out, period. Here's the big difference for me. If we rewind, number one, and just stylistically, what Conor tried to do with Floyd, he tried to be messy in the clinch, right? Weird rotations, weird clinch positions, weird punches he was getting in trouble for, rabbit punching. Tried to wrestle him in the clinch and just dominate in that area. And he didn't do too well in the clinch, Conor. Especially towards the end, he tried to clinch when he was fatigued and hurt, and it was bad for him. But if you think back, or even now, the takeaway from that fight, Conor did pretty good, right? Most people say, even world-class boxers, commentators were like, man, McGregor was able to go in there with an undefeated world champion, arguably the best ever, you know, off a few months of training for the boxing style, coming over from a different striking discipline, and to go into the later rounds with him and even land a few punches, arguably win a few rounds, right? So that's kind of, for me, that's the takeaway. Man, look how good Conor did. So, because it's an exhibition match, right? It's not like the points are so much important and you're walking away with the belt and you got the split decision. You know what I mean? So can Conor do well? Can he represent himself well and surprise people and kind of shock the world in that sense? What, he's going to beat him? Most likely not. Now, Conor's obviously bigger than Floyd. In comparison to Logan, a lot smaller, right? But he was still, people thought, man, look at he has the size difference. He's bigger than Floyd. He fought at 170, right? So, but 170, even that's a big gap in terms of 147 or 154, what that range that Floyd fights at. So we thought that may help Conor, but obviously because he's a world-class striker. Logan, like, if I were to be, again, I'm not Floyd obviously, but if I were to spar Logan, the challenge that I would have to overcome is the size, the weight, and the reach, right? And then obviously his footwork. He's going to be mobile, so he's probably going to be good moving back and hitting. So I can't just move him blindly and just blitz in fast, because he can counter me and he can still move. He's agile, he's so quick for his size, and in the clinch he's probably going to bully me around, right? I have to be sharp when I move in and out. Now it's like, well, Floyd should be able to do that. Of course he should. And my bet is, like, I would want to get Logan coming in so I can hit him. You saw KSI chase him, lunge, and hit an overhand, right? But you think you want to get a big guy to start stepping into his punch so you can counter him, so you can close that gap. Can Logan beat him in a boxing match? No, I don't think he can beat him in a boxing. I don't think he has a chance in beating him in a boxing match. But this is a special exhibition, very similar to Conor vs. Floyd. Can he win the night, right? Can he win over the fans? Can he win in that sense? Can the takeaway be, yeah, Floyd won, but let's look at what Logan was able to do. People to this day still talk about, man, that uppercut that Conor landed on Floyd, right? He landed a flush punch on Floyd. But Floyd doesn't even get hit by professional boxers, right? So it's tough for Floyd, because if he doesn't go in there and take him out and just absolutely school him, like absolutely put on a clinic, then it's going to look good for Logan. Logan is going to win the night. If Logan looks good in any way, not even just like landing punches, I mean, if he's able to move around and avoid some stuff, because in the clinch, I have a feeling, I mean, this is what I would be giving advice to Logan. If, again, it's not like I'm not going to help him versus Floyd, but to make it as messy as possible. If there's a clinch, there's no way Floyd's going to be able to. If Logan just wanted to move him, he can move him, right? So you can kind of sun him in a way in terms of in the clinch, which, again, it's not allowed, but in the casual fan, this is going to be watched by people who are just casual fans and looking at it. They're going to be like, man, like, okay, he's getting beat in boxing, but Logan looks kind of impressive. If Logan is able to move around, get into like the mid rounds, right? I don't know how long this is going to be. But if it's like a 6 round, if he can get through it, even if it's a shorter fight, like a handful of rounds, 4 or 5, I don't know what it's going to be. But if it's like 8 rounds or whatever, short minutes, if he was able to get to the middle of the late rounds of the fight, it is a win for Logan. Now, if Logan lands any kind of punch, and like a jab, boom, and just gets Floyd to shoot his head back, to me, Logan's gonna win the fight, because Floyd doesn't get touched. Floyd is he's known for his mastery and his defense, right? The Philly shell, man, just against the ropes, just all that. Everyone gets shocked when Floyd gets hit by Shane Mosley, flush shots, Maidana, people just, if Floyd bleeds, I remember in his prime, it was like, what? Oh my God, someone took a round or someone hurt him. If Logan just lands a punch or 2, to me, like, he's gonna win the night. He's gonna win in that sense. The takeaway from this special exhibition, when Floyd versus that kickboxer is an elite striker, an absolute killer of a fighter, monster, right? And he got starched. That whole thing was very weird, but he's also smaller. And again, Conor wasn't able to close the distance up. I feel like Logan can clinch when close, try to keep his arms extended, lean against the ropes and play defensive. To me, I'm like, he should just try to stay on the outside as much as possible, jab, and not try to get close to Floyd, and maintain distance and try to get Floyd to come forward, right? Because we know that Floyd doesn't typically come forward, but he's a master boxer, so he can fight any single way. Don't get it twisted, right? He did that against Conor. He stayed back. I do want to see him, Philly shell against him and have a good time. Floyd's going to have to be perfect. And Floyd is getting older. He's still in great shape, but he's not. And I don't think he's going to underestimate Logan. Floyd's not that type. He didn't underestimate Conor. He just decided to turn it on, later than I think what he expected. There's weight classes for a reason, and it's not just that, but clinching and using your forearms, being able to move somebody. The big concern I think is going to be Logan's gas tank. You know what I mean? If Floyd may just dance around him and move and just kind of move and get and Logan's going to be anxious, and Floyd might be fainting him out, and then Logan's just gassed, and then he's going to be able to bully him and then start slapping him up. That's what I expect to see. That's what I expect. But if Logan can be strategic and smart and be efficient with his energy and try to land something significant and play defense, cover his head and make Floyd attack his body so he doesn't get knocked out or something, I think it could be a huge plus for Logan, right? It's funny because Jake did say that Logan is the highest paid loser in boxing. If you're going to take on a fight against Floyd Mayweather and you only have one pro fight and it's against KSI in terms of another person on his level, then I don't see how Logan can lose in a way. You know what I mean? I'm not sure there's any way that he can walk out like a loser in this situation. Even if he gets knocked out, it's what we expected. So the sky's the limit for Logan Paul. Whereas Floyd, I think people might expect too much of him. I think he's up there in age and he is a lot smaller. I think they may expect him to go there and knock him out. And if it's exhibition, that's not going to be the case. So if it's an exhibition, there's weird rules. Are they going to go back and forth? And if that's the case, this is a perfect world for Logan. It's a perfect opportunity. You get to fight somebody like this when they're older and they're retired. Maybe they're not as committed and it's a money grab, right? It's easy money and it's an exhibition. Floyd maybe knows that people want to see what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't think Floyd cares. Floyd may be people want to see how good he does. He's an entertainer. This could be cool. This could be good. People love to see me lose. It'll get more publicity, whatever, and he'll just take him out whenever. You know what I mean? I don't know how Floyd thinks, but I would not be surprised if he's yeah, man, whatever. You know what I mean? So, but to me, that's a win for Logan, right? To me, the Conor versus Floyd Mayweather was a win for Conor. I don't see that being a lose. So, does Logan Paul stand a chance in a boxing match and winning the boxing match? My points? No. But in terms of winning over the fans and who was more impressive, right? What is everyone going to talk about? Logan has a good chance of coming out on top and getting a lot of praise for his ability to hang in there. I think Logan can do that, and that's what I'm interested to see. What can Logan do? How long can he hang in there? What can he handle? And then that kind of puts him right. If he fights Floyd, that puts him. If he does anything, that puts him right in line to box anybody else, right? Conor's kind of in that same lane. Then you can use now the Jake Paul and Conor thing, Logan and Conor. This all becomes a lot more reasonable, right? Because now they're crossing worlds. It opens up a can of worms. So let me know what you think. Leave a like and subscribe. Oos.